Hello everyone, my name is Beansprout and today we're going to be talking about Scorn. Scorn is a game that I hadn't seen much of, but I still had an interest in playing. And as a fan of the Alien films, the Treyarch inspired visuals had me hooked right away. I was confident it was going to be a good game, and I installed it through Xbox Game Pass on PC and was hoping for a good time, and some positive things I could say when I make a video on it. When I started the game, I immediately realised how good the graphics and art style was, and I'll be honest, the visuals are top notch. The world is extremely detailed and interesting to look at, and like I said, the graphics are absolutely stunning, although there is a very irritating problem where the game will occasionally have a stutterfest. And there's no excuse for this, I'm running this game on medium settings on an RTX 3070, but that's the least of this game's problems, because despite how good the visuals aren't everything, and I think it's important to say that this game is boring. So let's get into the reasons why. I want to say first that first impressions are everything. Everyone should know this. And that's one of Scorn's big problems. It doesn't start the game off with something that hooks you in, because the whole opening to the game was so boring that I almost quit after half an hour of playtime. In the opening to Scorn, you are wandering around this huge rundown alien structure that is amazingly detailed, and the goal is to open up this egg thing and release this guy to open this big door. But unfortunately, I, like most players, ran around trying to figure out what everything is and what it's used for, and eventually got bored and had to look up a walkthrough to try and figure out what I was trying to do. So after I looked up the walkthrough and completed this puzzle, I found this egg guy, which you then have to push around on the Tesco shopping trolley of doom and break him out of the egg. And I'm not going to show you the footage of me breaking him out of the egg, because YouTube is watching. But then after all this, we finally get to... drumroll please. Waiting for him to slowly follow you around until you find this hand thing and then lead him back slowly to the big door I mentioned a minute ago. Now if you was paying close attention, you may have noticed that the game doesn't really give you any clues as to what to do. I've seen some people online saying this is quality game design because the game doesn't give you any clues and there's no objective markers. There's no low health or ammo indicators or even a map to traverse the very samey and confusing level design of the game. But I am of the opinion that this is just bad or even lazy game design. If this was any other game, these people would be very unhappy, but because it presents itself as a work of art and not a game, they're just eating it all up. And I really don't understand it. And that brings me on to my next topic. This game probably has some of the worst, most mind-numbingly boring gameplay I have ever played. 90% of this game is walking around, 7% of it is puzzles, and the other 3% is combat. The kind of vibe I got from the trailers and the videos I saw of it was that the game was going to be a kind of action horror game. And while I know that they did say the game wasn't meant to be a shooter, I think the game should classify as an FPS game, and that them saying it's not is a very lazy excuse for having clunky, slow, and very unrefined shooting mechanics. I get that the game looks nice and that it's meant to be a work of art, but if you're making a video game, it at least needs to be focused on being fun. And for a lot of the people who didn't see that one trailer saying it's not meant to be a shooter, they probably got tricked into thinking that it was going to be an action horror game. Some parts of this game also don't feel like they've been playtested at all. There's been multiple times where I've seen enemies load in right in front of me, or I've seen stuff pop in out of nowhere, and I even had a moment where I fell through the floor of an elevator and had to replay an entire section of the game. This game also has an ungodly amount of walking in it, like I mentioned before. Even when I spoke about this game in my stream chat, they said the game was like Death Stranding, which is quite literally a walking simulator. And because of how confusing some of the level design is, walking around for so long drove me insane.
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy.
Oh, and a final point for this segment I would like to mention is that a lot of the animations are very tedious and annoying to watch because of how slow they are, especially some of the execution animations in the game. If these were like Doom's glory kills, which are optional along with having an actual reason for being there, they wouldn't be as bad, but unfortunately it's kind of random when and how these occur, and they have literally no reason for being here, and no reason for being this slow apart from bogging the game down. I'm going to talk about how this game can be fixed, but I first have a special announcement I'd like to make. I have finally brought out some new merch on my store, which includes a Beansprout themed Switch case, mousepad, iPhone case, and a Samsung case if you'd like to check any of that out. The link is down in the description. You can also use the promo code NEW123 to get 10% off of any purchase on the store. This ends on the 31st, so be quick. Okay, so I'm going to do something a bit odd when it comes to criticism like this, and offer up some ideas as how they could improve this. Because I do think this game has a lot of potential, and I would recommend going about these changes in a campaign DLC. Alright, let's get into them. I would keep the game's art and atmosphere, but I would also implement more environmental reminders as to where you've been or not. This would be something like a faint green light or glow around an area that you've not explored yet, or a red indicator on doors for places that you can't go to or open. And for places that you've already been to, there would just be no indicators there, because a massive problem the game has is getting lost, and I think this is driving a lot of the players away. I would also introduce a map to help with this, because again it would cause less player confusion and prevent more people from getting lost and quitting the game. And another thing, when you get weapons like the pistol, it should already have ammo in it, especially if you accidentally walk past the ammo machine and get harassed by enemies, you can't really do anything. Oh, and speaking of doing things faster, I would also speed up the executions a bit, because like I said, they're a slog. I'm not saying for the features I've just mentioned to make the gameplay easier, I'm just saying that they're better quality of life things to have, and they would make the game a lot less of a chore to play. I very much doubt the developers of Scorn are watching this video, but I will keep an eye on the game because if there is any future DLC, I want to see if they fix any of the problems with the game. And if any of the developers are watching this video, hi, please fix the game, because I do really want to be able to enjoy it. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, then I recommend giving it a like and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more like it. Along with that, I've got a merch store with some new listings like I mentioned earlier. I also have a Discord which you should totally join, and a Twitter. But other than that, thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.